Snapchat and Rumbers, welcome back to another installment of the Neighborhood Kitchen. I know it has been a hot minute since we have done another one of these, but I got a great meal planned for you tonight. You know, I was walking through the supermarket the other day and I'm in the produce section, and all of a sudden it hit me like a lightning bolt. You know what? Let's do a vegetarian style meal. I know. 4 of you just fell off your goddamn chairs. No, I did not convert. I still like to eat animals. But every so often, I like to change it up. Have something a little light, a little fresh. And like I said, I don't cook too much in the summertime because I try to stay away from heavier food in the summer. You know, got to keep that nice little beach physique. But every so often, I do like to have a home-cooked meal. Now, you know, being Italian, you know I love Italian food. And God knows I love my pasta, but I don't eat too much pasta. I usually try to limit myself to maybe once a month at best. You know, carbs are the enemy. But, you know, sometimes I don't know if I miss the pasta more or the condiment. And, you know, listen, we all need to get our serving of vegetables in. And sometimes that's hard to do. So I got the perfect meal for you. Now, typically in the summertime, a lot of people tend to gravitate towards salads when they think light and fresh. But how much salad can a person eat? I myself don't really eat a lot of salad. I know, shocking. But I got a meal that's going to fix all of that. It's going to hit all the bells and whistles, and you're going to be knocked out by it. So tonight's meal is vegetable linguine with a northern-style marinara. But before we get today's meal kicked off, you know I always like to start with a cocktail. Tonight's cocktail is not a typical Tommy cocktail. It's a wine cocktail. I know. Every friggin' wine connoisseur just grabbed their chest and went and fell backwards. Settle down, okay? Yeah, listen, I've drank my fair share of wine in a wine glass, out of a juice glass, out of a rocks glass, and typically I just drink it regular. But every so often, you gotta change it up a little bit. Shit, life is too short. So, in the summertime, I like to brighten things up a little bit. And since our dish is gonna have red wine in it, I figured what better accompaniment than a red wine cocktail? Now, you can use pretty much any kind of red wine you like. Me, typically, when I'm making sauces or I'm making cocktails with red wine, I tend to gravitate towards Merlots. Pinot Noirs are great. Even Chiantis, okay, make a nice bright cocktail. Now, here's the thing: when you're dealing with red wine, like a heavier red wine, like a Cabernet or a Merlot, you want to open it about an hour before you drink it. Okay, you got to let it breathe. All right, I know. A lot of people go, is that true? Yeah, you know, with heavier red wines, oxygen is their friend, but too much oxygen will turn it into vinegar. So be careful. When you got Pinot Noirs and Chiantis and lighter red wines, 15-20 minutes is perfect. So start with a glass. I like these stemless wine glasses. Fill it with ice. You get a good red wine. I'm using a Napa Valley Merlot. Okay, you want to fill that glass about 3/4 of the way. Oops, spilled a little bit, just about like that much. Okay, then we're going to add a little cranberry clementine flavored club soda. Any kind of citrus flavored club soda would work. I tend to like things that are either orange or tangerine because I feel that goes really nice with red wine. This is going to be basically a red wine spritz, not a spritzer. A red wine spritz. You're going to see the difference in a second. So now I add my club soda, okay? You want to leave about a finger's length from the top, okay? Just about that much. And just to give it a little extra citrus punch, you top it with about a half a shot of Cointreau. There you go. That's it. All right? Take your cocktail mixer, give it a little stir. And there you go, kids. A red wine spritz. Azalud, to drink up and be somebody. Oh, that has got some nice refreshment to it. Oh, I gotta tell you, that's great. That's good shit. I mean, this is a good. It's almost like a quick sangria. It's a nice drink for dinner. It's a nice drink for sitting out poolside. Maybe you're hanging out in the backyard. Hey, listen, there ain't no shame in it, kids. I'm gonna take another slug and then we're gonna get to our recipe. Okay, so tonight's ingredients, we need a couple of things, all right, for our marinara. Now, marinara sauce is an often misunderstood sauce. A lot of times people think you got to cook it for like 2-3 hours. No, a marinara is a light, bright, quick cooking tomato sauce. You don't even make it in a pot. You're supposed to make it in the skillet, okay? Now, typically you start with about You start with onion and garlic. Now, the beautiful thing about Italian cooking is there's really no set way to do things. You start with the basics, tomato sauce, onions, and garlic, and then you go nuts from there. You do whatever the hell you gotta do, okay? So I said this is more of a northern style one because I'm gonna use an mirepoix as my base. For those of you that don't know what an mirepoix is, it's very simple. Carrot, celery, and onion. It's the basis for all European cooking. Of course, it was probably invented in France, hence the French name. And I know what you're thinking, but that doesn't sound Italian. But it is. In northern Italy, which is closer to France, they use a mirepoix in a lot of their cooking. A lot of their stews, soups, even their sauces have a mirepoix as their base. As a matter of fact, if you've ever had a traditional bolognese, it starts with a mirepoix. So, I already have mine prepped. I got it in here about a half a carrot each of half a cup of carrots and celery, and then 1 cup of onion. You could use whatever kind of onion you like. I'm using the Vidalia because I like the sweetness, but you could use a yellow onion, white onion, red onion would even work pretty good in this too. So there you go. Again, half a cup each of carrots and celery, 1 cup of onion. Then I also got about 3-4 cloves of garlic that I smashed and pasted with a little crushed, with a little kosher salt. You just smash your garlic, give it a rough chop, sprinkle a good pinch of kosher salt, and then you take the flat part of your knife and you grind it back and forth until it makes a paste. You could use a mortar and pestle too. And then for our vegetable linguine, I have zucchini linguine. Now I know, those of you that know me just said, holy shit, what is he doing? He hates zucchini. And that's true, I do. I fucking hate it, okay? Absolutely hate it. But I never had yellow linguine. I mean, yellow zucchini. I'm getting myself all twisted. It's the wine went right to my head. So when I was in the supermarket, and it's not, I go to like a little Italian grocery store, and their produce is always great. They had this already prepped, and I said, I wonder what that tastes like. So I opened the package. I don't give a shit. I tasted it. Now zucchini, regular zucchini, the green one, has a grassy, very earthy taste to it, and I don't like it. This, on the other hand, is a little bit on the sweeter side, a little bit more subtle, and that's when I came up with the idea. I'm like, shit, I should make a marinara and add it to this and have like a nice little non-pasta linguine type of meal. And that's how we got here. And then, of course, lastly, you need some fresh basil gourd. I stole this from the garden. And a good tomato product. I'm using this palmy tomato sauce. All this is just pureed tomato, okay? Any kind of good quality tomato product will work. Now, oh, and of course, some red wine. Now, when using tomato product, always taste it, okay? Because they all taste differently. You want to typically stick with a San Marzano or a Stanislaus kind of tomato product because they're going to tend to be a little bit less acidic. And the way you balance that acid out is usually with sugar. Okay, now most people go, oh my God, my grandmother never put sugar in her sauce. She's lying, okay? Because they do. You use a little bit. You got to taste it. So every tomato is different. Now, I may refrain from using sugar because I'm using a mirepoix. In northern Italy, the reason they use the carrots and the celery is because it adds sweetness to the sauce, which neutralizes the acid and brings out the taste of the tomato. Huh? See? Look, educational, fun, and you'll get fed. So, let's get over to the stove and start cooking. So I got a nice big 12-inch skillet that's getting nice and hot. And to that I want to add a couple of glugs of good extra virgin olive oil. Now I get this question a lot. Tommy, when do I use olive oil? When do I use extra virgin olive oil? When do I use any kind of oil? And it's real simple. Extra virgin olive oil has a very low smoking point. So when you're going to cook with it, you really only want to use it when you're sauteing. Okay, if you're using any kind of like medium fry, that's when you, like for chicken cutlets, chicken fried steak, meatballs, stuff like that, that's when you use regular olive oil. But for like light sauteing, especially your vegetables, extra virgin is fine because we're going to cook it at a moderate heat and it's going to cook pretty quick. All we want to do really is just kind of sweat these vegetables out a little bit and just get them rocking and rolling, all right? So let's see if our oil's hot enough. I like to add a little pinch. When that starts to sizzle, we're good to go, okay? And we're going to season very simply with a little kosher salt and fresh cracked black pepper. So, I can smell that getting fragrant. Okay, we're gonna get our vegetables down in there. All right, you hear it sizzling now? Okay. So what we want to do is we just want to kick this around a little bit. It's going to absorb some of that olive oil. It's going to get all nice and happy. Just give it a minute before you saute it. I mean, before you season it, because if you salt this too quick, it's going to leach out all of its fluids, and it's not going to saute properly. Okay. If I wanted to sweat it, I would have added the salt right away. But I want to saute it a little bit. I want to get a little caramelization going. Okay, because again, we want the natural sugars and the carrots and the celery and the onion to come through. So give that a few minutes. Let that get happy. Okay? Oh, you should smell this. It smells great already. I'm getting excited. Okay. Now, as this is sauteing, you want to keep the heat relatively low, medium low, okay, because you don't want to cook this too quick. All right, and into this we're going to add our garlic. Okay. Now, when you add the garlic, that's probably when you should season it. Okay. So we got our garlic in there. So I'm going to hit this with a little salt, some fresh cracked black pepper. I'm just going to kick that all around until it gets nice and happy. Got to be careful. You don't want to add the garlic too soon, because if you do, it's going to burn and then you got to start all over again. As soon as you smell that garlic getting fragrant, that's when you want to deglaze this pan. Okay. So my garlic is nice and fragrant. I mean, you could put this on toast and you'd be good. Now what I want to do is deglaze. So I take a little of that red wine, I put my thumb over the top like that, and just once around the pan. Or maybe twice around the pan. It's okay if you're drunk or fired, it's fine. Now, you just want to let that cook down. Okay, when you deglaze, what that does is it pulls all of the flavors off the pan. Okay, and it creates a wonderful bouquet and a nice aroma. And man, you should be smelling this. Okay, all right, we're almost ready to go here. Now, I just want to let the wine evaporate a little bit before I add my tomato sauce. This is a good way to get the kids to eat their vegetables too. If you got picky kids, right? This is a good way to get them to eat their veg. Now, you see the red wine evaporated a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my tomato sauce. Okay? Don't be bashful, get it all in there. Being stubborn. I want to taste that too. All right, it's not too acidic. All right, so I don't think we're going to need to add any more sweetness to this than we already have. All right, I think that's it. You know what? Here, let's do this. Go to the last drop here. Little Sicilian ingenuity. Okay, there we go. Hey, listen, you can never have too much wine, right? Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to season my sauce. So I'm actually using some Italian essence. Any kind of Italian seasoning blend would work, or you could just make your own. Little oregano, a little dry basil, and a little rosemary. So I'm going to use about a tablespoon. Okay. Now what I do is with dry ingredients, I like to pulverize it real quick, and the reason I do that is because it releases the natural oil in it. Okay. So now I'm going to add a little bit more salt. Okay. Oh, this is already smelling like marinara. Some good amount of black pepper. And now you want to incorporate this. Okay. You want to get all make friends with everybody in here. All right. Okay. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to let this simmer. Okay. Medium to low heat for about 15-20 minutes. Okay, it'll reduce a little bit, it'll thicken up a little bit, and that's okay. All right, now I know what you're thinking, but Tommy, you forgot the basil. No. See, here's the thing with basil. People don't know how to cook with it. Okay, basil has a nice bright floral scent to it. Okay, And what people tend to do is they add it into the sauce and they want it to cook down. And what happens is it turns into this ugly brownish, greenish color that is just disgusting. And then when you go to eat it, it tastes bitter. And that's not good eating. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the basil. Okay? So you just want to let this come to a little nice simmer. Oh, wow. 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 All right. So I'm going to knock the heat down a little bit. Just let that do its thing. It might snap, crackle, and pop a little bit. That's okay. Can you see that simmering away like that? That's beautiful. So as I said with basil, you don't want to cook it in the sauce. What you want to do is you want to keep that nice, bright, fresh, aromatic scent to it. So I'm going to take a couple of these leaves here like that. Okay? And what we're going to do is chiffonade the basil. Okay? I know, big fancy culinary term. So you get a couple of these nice basil leaves. And what you do is you lay them flat like this, right? Okay? Just like that. I know, it's like you're making a puzzle. And then I like to roll them up. And then I take my knife. And you just run the blade through. And you make these little ribbons. Chiffonade is just a big fancy culinary way of saying ribbons of basilicata. See, a chiffonade de basilicata. I'm speaking French, I'm speaking Italian, I'm speaking all kinds of languages here. Okay, my stomach is talking too, and it's saying, feed me, motherfucker. All right, there you go. There's your chiffonade. So, marinade has been simmering. Okay, and it smells great. It tastes even better. It just got a little bit more of a ways to go. Now, again, marinade is a quick, bright pan sauce. It's different than like a tomato sauce or a pomodoro sauce, which you're gonna. It's a tomato sauce would be a little heavier than this. I would have added some tomato paste in it to give it a little bit more body. You're gonna let that cook low and slow. Okay, this is cooking at a medium to low heat. Okay, and by cooking it in the 12-inch skillet, it's actually going to develop its taste a little bit quicker. Okay, because it's not a lot of volume. And listen, you can put this just on about anything. You can put it on pizza. You can put it on chicken parm. You can put it on pasta. You can put it on a tire. You can put it on just about anything. Matter of fact, sometimes what I like to do is I like to poach some filet of sole right in there. Oh, it's delicious. So I got a little skillet getting hot over here. I'm going to add a little bit more extra virgin olive oil. Okay, and then to that I'm going to add my Zucchini Linguine. Okay, now this has a lot of water in it because zucchini's, like that, so it might pop and sizzle a little bit on you, but that's okay. Now we just want to saute this nice, warm it through. Okay, we're going to season it before we add our sauce to it. Oh, but this smells pretty good. Okay, I can't wait to try this. This is going to be delicious. Because like I said, this has a little bit of more of a sweetness to it than, say, the green zucchini. Now, you can make vegetable linguine out of pretty much any kind of vegetable. They have those gadgets that do it, okay? You could do it with carrot. You could do it with cucumber. You could do it with potato if you want, which, at that point, I don't know. You might as well just eat pasta if you're going to do that. So we're going to let this get happy. I'm going to season this with a little bit of our Italian seasoning as well. Why not? Okay. Okay, and add a little bit of salt to this. Add a little black pepper to this. Okay, we're going to let this do its thing. So our zucchini's done. Our marinara is done, and it tastes amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of the marinara right to the zucchini, okay? And I'm just going to marry that to each other, okay? Add a little bit more. And if you have extra marinara, which you probably will, okay, that's okay. Because this stuff freezes really well, too. Now, if you want, you could, if like I said, if you have picky kids and they don't like it like that, like a little, with some texture, you could just take the boat motor to it, which is a little stick blender, and just hit that real quick, puree it up real nice, and even thicken it up a little bit. But I like the texture. Okay, so this is ready to go. And we're gonna plate this up, and we'll see you at the. So we're ready to eat. I'm actually kind of excited about this. Take a look at that, huh? I mean, that looks like a dish of linguine that you'd get in a restaurant. Okay, so what I did was I added a little bit more marinara. I added some grated cheese, because cheese makes everything better, and I added some of that freshly chiffonaded basil right on top, so the heat from the sauce is going to let the oils and everything leach out. But I can't wait to dig right into this. So let's check this out here. Okay, I guess I don't have to twirl it, but okay, over the hatch, over the teeth and past the gums. Look out, stomach, here it comes. You know what? I think I like yellow zucchini. That is delicious. That really is absolutely delicious. This beats a salad any day of the week, and you know something? I really don't miss the pasta. From my neighborhood to yours, get out there and cook something. In the meantime, bon appetit, salud. And I'll see you when I see you.